Joyfully Empowered is about feeling uplifted, inspired, and connected to your intuition. This is the place where dreams are possible, cups are half full, and community is solid. Topics include spirituality, leadership, feminine wealth, intuition, manifestation, and our sacred work. This is where bold self starters come to refill their je ne sais quoi to continue spreading a little magic to the world. I am Stephanie Verchot, a spicy Latina, mom, and relentless about supporting others achieve their dreams by following their intuition. Welcome to Joyfully Empowered, my friends. Whew, I am so excited to be here last week. You might hear it a little bit on my voice, but I have been so sick. I'm finally beginning to feel better, which it's a little bit about what we're going to talk about today. Today is a Living in Flow episode. And if you are new to my Living in Flow episodes, they're basically episodes that I share a little bit about different things in my life, whether personal or in my business. But it's about how it's like not showcasing, but it's like sharing how I live by intuition and how I trust and surrender. And I give updates on my life and what's going on. So it's a little bit of different topics mishmash all together into one. As a reminder, I am recording live in New York City. So if you hear the hunks or any really fun sounds that make the city, that color the city, then you know what's going on, but it's all good. So if you're watching this on video, which you can on YouTube or on Substack. Wow, I'm still with that like cold brain. Then you can see that I got a new haircut. And let me tell you how good it feels. So, if you've known me for the past 3 years, you know that about 3 years ago, when I gave birth, it was probably 4 months after I gave birth. So I used to have my hair so long, right? I've had my hair so long forever and ever. I used to like have little trims here and there. Okay. I've always wanted to cut it short, like Pink, right? Singer, musician, entertainer, amazing Pink, love her. She has this short hair, and it's so just badass. I love her haircut. I always have. It's like bright. Well, she's had a color like pink and different colors, blonde, but lately, like the past few years, she had it blonde, and it was just pixie and sexy, and loved it. I never had. I felt like I was never courageous enough to go chop my hair off, and so I had it really long. Then I gave birth. And after I gave birth, I was like, you start thinking about all these things. And one of the things was like, I've been wanting my hair short for as long as I can remember. And I want to be the kind of mom that models to their kids and like my daughter that, we can do hard things. We can do brave things. We can do things that feel scary. So I chopped my hair off. I must have cut 12 inches. I don't even know. There's a video on my Instagram if you're curious. This was like 2022. I kept it short for probably 3 years. And I started letting it grow. So my daughter loves my Dylan Joy. She loves long hair. Mama, I have long hair. Mama, your hair is getting longer. Mama, can you have long hair or like something along those lines? I was like, all right, let me let it grow again. The power of children. And I started letting it grow, and I was really nervous. And by the way, like if you've been wanting to cut your hair, I was really nervous about the phases of the growth. It's really not that bad. Like at every phase, I had so much fun with it, and I got to do different like little cute little styles. And the grow out phase was what I was like the most concerned about, because you never want to go through the stages that you're like, what do I do with my hair? And it was actually really fun. So I let it grow for about a year. I didn't cut it. I didn't color it, just letting it grow. And a few weeks ago, I'm like looking myself in the mirror, and I was like, I need highlights and I actually need some sort of shape. Right. Like it was just had outgrown it. I could put it in like a tiny little ponytail the tiniest little ponytail you could think about. And I was like, okay. So I went to my lady. If you need a recommendation in New York City, let me know because she's amazing. And I was like, okay, I want highlights, I want it bright, I want it fun, and then I want a shape. So I love it. It's like a little, I don't even know what this is cut. This is, you would know. But anyways, it's like down to my like chin. It's still pretty short, but it's bright. It has like beautiful layers. And I feel so good, like the power of a haircut. I don't know, it's like a haircut or getting your nails done, or sometimes like shaving and getting a facial, getting a massage, like things like that, like really can zhuzh up your energy. So if you've been thinking like I've been wanting to get a haircut, or I haven't got my nails done in forever, put me on pause, book the appointment. You'll feel so good. It's just like renewal, and spring is coming. By the way, happy March 1st. I'm recording this on March 1st. I won't release it until the 3rd, but yeah, like let's take care of ourselves. So, living in flow, I want to talk about three different things today that are related and not. So, I want to talk about how I finally like how the meaning of health is wealth actually like synced in, and how it anchored. And like, yes, we've all heard that saying health is wealth for like ever. And I was always like, actually, the first time I heard it, probably around the first, I was like, oh my God, that's so cheesy. Um, and then you hear it and you're like, all right, I get it. And then now I'm like, oh no, like I get it. Like you hear sayings throughout your life, and then you go through the experience, and then it like sinks and you actually understand it. So I want to talk a little bit about that because I was like pretty eye-opening. I want to give you a little update on how my 40-day ritual is going. And then I want to talk about this really hard decision that I had such a hard time with it, but I'm going overseas next week. And if you're a mom or a parent, or maybe you're neither and you want to be, or maybe you're neither and you neither want to be, but it's just a really personal story. And I think there's some interesting things there to explore that I want to share with you all. So let's get started. I believe that I am a fairly healthy person with vitality. I follow like the three of like drinking water, getting sleep, moving your body, eat your veggies. Like I take pretty good care of myself. Mine is my skin routine. I really gotta step that up. I mean, it's not like I don't, like I wash my face and I da da da, but I need an upgrade, but that's for another time. Okay. So I rarely, knock on wood, get sick, right? Like I take my vitamins, pretty healthy person, rarely get sick, pretty strong immune system. Last Saturday, so a week ago Saturday, I was like, I have a little thing. Like they say, I have a little tickle in the back of my throat. And my husband had been sick maybe the week before that. He had fever, but that was like about it. And then he went away after like a couple days. A few days later, I was like, oh my God, I'm sick. Oh my God. It wasn't the flu, but if you hear my voice, I'm still not 100%, although I feel like 80% better. This week knocked me on my ass. Like I canceled all my calls. I stayed home all week. I was doing like neti pod and oil of oregano and beekeeper's natural. There's like a nose spray, a throat spray. I was doing honey and lemon and ginger and turmeric. And my husband makes this like really delicious tea that's like good for you with like all the good things. I was coughing. My ear ached. I haven't had an earache since I was like 11. My throat was hurting when I was swallowing. My head, I thought I was going to explode. I don't even know what was going on, but it was awful. Like it humbled me so much. And when I woke up on Thursday feeling a little bit better, that's when I realized like health is wealth. Like it clicked, it dawned on me. I run around all the time. I do all the things. I work out. Again, like I'm a very active person. And I really take sometimes my health for granted, right? For everything that my body sustains me and what it does for me, and how body, you are amazing in cells and organs and every piece of my body that I don't probably fully understand. Like, thank you. Because this week when I'm like, nope, I can barely get up. I was like sleeping all day. Thank God, like I was able to like, my husband and I were like taking care of Dylan Joy. And I mean, and she's just amazing in so many ways, but she just gets it. She was like just knowing that mama wasn't feeling well. So we didn't go to like her ballet class. We didn't go to like her music class. We didn't go to like all, her like the school. And she's just awesome. I love her so much. But I just felt like I had so much appreciation. There's so much abundance in health because you get to play, you get to move, you get to sleep, you get to eat, I get to work, I get to think. And when I was sick all of last week, like I couldn't do any of those things. All I was like holding my head, blowing my nose, and like sleeping. And it was really humbling experience. So I thought about like, that kind of segue to my 40-day ritual update. So I kind of finish one and put a pin on number one and start on the other. I started this 40-day ritual update, this 40-day ritual, and for many different things. But one of these like three things that I committed to, or four things that I committed to, was daily movement, like even if it's at least 10 minutes of stretching, daily meditation. I do this shamanic drums. I listen to the shamanic drums to really put me in a state of meditation and connecting with my heart. I know social media, and that was like a slippery slope. Like I definitely had like a harder time with that. And then neutral time. Neutral time is when you're not consuming, you're not listening, you're not watching, you're just neutral. You're just allowing for things to process and sink in, and giving space to your body to rearrange and reorganize and all the things. And even when I was sick, except for one day, I would still get on the mat and I would stretch my body out. And one day my husband is like, "Why are you still doing this? Like, you don't feel good." And I was like, "My body needs the stretch." I was doing this, shout out, by the way, to Pilates by Raven. She's fairly big, and I recently had discovered her maybe in the past 6 months ago through my nutritionist. And she has these awesome mat Pilates workouts. She even has like on YouTube, like even a video or like a few series on like Pilates when you're on your period. Which, by the way, when I was sick, I was also on my period. Like last week was a purge. It was like a shock point in my evolution and my growth. There's a lot of purging. Like I feel it. And even when I was so sick, I was like, I would get on the mat. But it was so interesting though, because one of the things, when you're doing a lot of Pilates or even yoga, you do cat cows, and you do like downward dog. Could not put my head down like that. The pressure was so bad. But I would still take time to stretch my spine and stretch my body. And I was so appreciative that I could go back to this ritual that I had started. I think I'm on day 33. I have like 7 days left, but I had started 33 days ago. That even in times of sickness and feeling that there was like nothing that I could anchor to myself, I could go to this ritual. And I would still do it every day. And I was thinking, like, wow, like health is wealth. Like my body, there's part of my body that's still here. My body's fighting for me, and it's my immune system is fighting for me during this. So after this, and I'm beginning to feel better, I want to continue honoring and dedicating myself to the health of my body because, like I said, body, you're so incredible. So I don't know if for you, if you're feeling inspired, or maybe recently you also got super sick and you're beginning to feel better, but how can we continue honor our bodies, right? And continue strengthen the vitality, what makes us feel alive, and feed it things that are healthy and nourishing and alive, and moving our body so it feels so he has like space, right? And honoring ourselves and getting sleep and hydrating ourselves. Like, I'm so thankful that I learned this health is wealth now because, excuse me, like, I mean, it's never too late. And like, again, I thought for a while it was so cheesy, but like, it finally clicked on the meaning of health, or health is wealth. And I talk about in the feminine wealth that I talk about in my coaching program and all these things about wealth isn't just like financial wealth, right? Wealth comes in the form of health, of creativity, of sensuality, of impact, of course, financial wealth. But wealth is such like a 360 multi-dimensional. I'm kind of doing this motion with my hands, like it's vast. It's a vast umbrella that holds so much. So when you're creating wealth in your life, health is such a big part of that, right? How do you continue to health? Because when you're healthy, man, you can do anything, right? You can do anything. And I don't even think I know that health also starts in our mindset. So even when I see my daughter, hold on, let me mute me for a second because I need to cough. I feel like as we get older, or sometimes we hear this within like an older generation of like, oh, my body's giving up, and or my body's not, it's what is it, like it's betraying me. You hear things like that, and I that never really clicked. I never believed that. I think like our bodies are always in our side, even when we are people that are leaving, like even if you're somebody that's living with like an autoimmune system, or you've gone through really hard things. I think our body is actually always here for us, and it's actually like always want to make us stronger. And I really do believe that. I don't think our body ever gives up. I think our body never gives up until the moment we pass away, but that could be for many different reasons, right? But when Dylan Joy falls and she has a little scratch, I'm so conscious of teaching her that like our bodies are always going to be there for us, and then when her little, cuts are getting better, she'll be like, look, mommy, my body's so strong. And I'm like, hell yeah, I mean, I don't say hell yeah, but yeah, your body is so strong. Like it always heals. It always wants to provide. It always wants to be there for you and get healthier and healthier. But we also have to be a source that supports it, right? Like we also have to feed it right, and drink it, give it water and work it out and feed it properly. It's a dance. It's a dynamic dance between our bodies and ourselves, and we are responsible for providing it the best it can so it runs the best it can. So are there places in your life and parts of yourself that you're not treating your body like this, like again they say the sanctuary, right? Are there ways that you can be more responsible, devoted, and committed to treating your body like the incredible resource, the incredible channel of divinity that it is? Like that's something that you can start right now, that you can start today. And in many ways, I am appreciative that I had this awful head cold, you know, because it re anchored me into taking care of my body, right? For me, for my life, for my goals, for my family, for my daughter, for the future that I'm creating. And I finally learned, you know, that health is wealth. So I talked a little bit about this 40-day ritual, right? And how I'm not one to shy away from these commitments and these experiments. Like I thrive on commitment experiments. I've done all kinds of like, you know, no sugar for 40 days or like Whole30. And, back in the day, I think it was a little too extreme. I definitely live more in the neutral now. But, I don't shy away. I don't shy away from things like that. I thrive like waking up earlier, working out, or doing things that require you like a little bit of this. All right, or are you gonna step in, or are you gonna continue being complacent with your life? So I think I definitely want to do this again, right? But really, what I learned about this even more so was how much my body was craving, longing for an anchor. Like I'm visualizing like an oak tree with like really thick roots. Like I think pre 40-day ritual, as much as I am spiritual, I was also not really grounded. It's like between the million things you have to do in a day, running a business, taking care of my clients, running a household, being with my daughter. Like I'm moving pretty fast, like most of us are. And this ritual gave me a framework to slow down, gave me like a comfort, like a solace, a cocoon to feel held, you know? And the main form of daily movement that I've been doing is mat Pilates with this Pilates by Raven. I love her workouts. And sometimes it's 20 minutes, sometimes it's 45 minutes, sometimes it's relatively easy. She has like a nighttime routine that I love. Other times I go in. I mean, every time it pushes me, but my body was longing for that. And when I listened to those 15 minutes on the drums and I just allow myself to feel all of it, the fears, the excitement, the anxiety, the nervousness, the celebrations of my day, I feel held. Or when I'm not scrolling on social media and I'm being present, or when I have neutral time and I'm taking a shower without music on the background, right? Or I walk to my co-working space without listening to a podcast, just looking at the trees. I'm like, my body was longing and craving for all of this. And it reminded me, so I was vegan um for about 15 years. And then I was vegetarian for like another 3, 5, so maybe 15 years of my life. It was a combination of like vegan slash vegetarian, maybe even longer. But I didn't start eating fish again. Fish was like my reintroduction when I was pregnant with Dylan Joy. I started craving salmon so bad. And I ate it and it was delicious and it was very easy integration. So now it's like fish and eggs and like dairy I eat. I still don't eat and chicken. I don't eat meat or pork. But when I became vegan, first time ever, I was like 20, like 24, 25. And me and my best friends, when I lived in Miami, we had signed up for this like weekend yoga retreat. You know, they send you this like little thing to prepare. And the yogi, our teacher, facilitator, she's like, listen, a week before the retreat, was like a 3-day retreat, like a Friday through Sunday. In order to make the best out of the retreat, she's like, try to abstain from alcohol, from caffeine, from meat and dairy, and just try to eat things that are really clean so you can really take care of your body and you're not, you're as neutral as you can be. Okay. So after we were done with the retreat, all my friends and we went to like get brunch or dinner or something like that. And I remember I was ordering and they were all getting back. They're like, let's get a drink and let's eat, whatever. I don't know, whatever people eat. And I'm like, you know what? I think I'm going to stay vegan. And it was like really that quick of a decision. And then I did. And it was awesome for like 15 years of my life. Loved it every minute. It never felt hard. It never felt like I was quote unquote missing out. It was cool. Loved it. And then I craved fish and then I started eating and then integrated, easy, fun, no big deal. This 40-day ritual felt the same. Like it never felt hard. Even last night, I had a really busy day. It wasn't a busy day. Well, kind of. Yes. Yesterday was the first day I started feeling better. My daughter, we're doing like a little family get together tomorrow for my daughter's third birthday. Oh my God. And yesterday I was finally feeling better. So I was like, okay, I got to go to Whole Foods. I got to pick up the balloons and the cake, whatever the things. And we got home, had dinner, and it was like 8 o'clock at night. And I was like, oh my God, I haven't worked out today. Like, I got to work out. Normally, when it's 8 o'clock, for most people, after a long day, you're like, you know what? Forget it. I'll just skip it and I'll do it tomorrow. And that wasn't the case. I was like, oh my God, I forgot to work out today. While Dylan Joy was like taking a shower and getting ready for bed, I did a 20-minute night mat Pilates routine. I loved it. And it was actually exactly what my body needed because I was running around all day after being sick for a week. So, this 40-day ritual of committing to a daily workout and a daily meditation and daily neutral time and like cutting out social media was easy. Like, it wasn't hard. I didn't dread it. I didn't have to make excuses for it. I didn't have to trick my mind not doing it. I didn't have like a fight with myself every day because you have to do it. I just got it done. Like, it was meant to be. Right. So I'm going to keep it. I'm going to continue it. before I started this 40-day ritual, I probably would work out. I mean, I walk like 12,000 steps a day, but and I work out maybe once or twice a week, right? I go to Zumba with my friend Melissa, and I love that, maybe once a week. And then sometimes I would get to the gym. You go through periods that you're like, I've gone through periods where I'm like, I do weightlifting 4 times a week, and then I go through, and then you go on a trip or you get sick or whatever, and then you stop. Right. And when I started this 40-day ritual, I was still doing my walks. Obviously, I walk everywhere, but I was not doing like a consistent workout routine, movement, loving on my body. And now I am every single day. And I want to continue that. I was watching or reading something, and somebody was saying, who was it? I forget, but they were saying like, I have been running every day for the past 12 years, even if it's a mile a day. And I'm like, oh, I love that. Like, I want to be those people that I'm like, I work out every day. That's just what I do. It could be a really hard workout, it could be a 20-minute stretch routine, but I love on my body every day. So, as I share all of this with you, is there anything that you're like, I want to do that too? Like, I want to commit. And maybe you start with like a 7-day commitment and see what feels easy, what your body is like excited to take in. Or maybe you start with 40 days and you have a buddy that you are like an accountability buddy, right? That is always so powerful. And you do this together, to love on your body. One of the things that I did too is like I have big goals for myself. And on the days that I was kind of like, not didn't want to, because that never really happened, but on the days that I needed like an extra like shot of caffeine as a way of saying like to get it done, I would think about, all right, that's the stuff that has achieved all these things, right? I'm gonna show up to my workout devoted to her and that version of me that's emerging, right? So, if you want to have a certain amount of like financial success you want to reach, or if you are wanting to get pregnant, or if you wanting to get a promotion, or be in a relationship, right? Or start a business, like devote yourself to that version and let that version energize your commitment, right? To whatever you're committing. Like I did my workout and my meditation. It's a devotion and a commitment to the version of myself that's emerging. Isn't that beautiful? I love that. I love to say that. I love for you to hear it. Okay. Last thing I want to talk about, which is just hard to share, and it was a hard decision to make. Before I share this, I want to finalize it today before I wrap up with a current offer I have going on that I'm so excited. Um, what do I want to do first? Let me share my hard decision, and then I'll share with you my awesome offer that I have going on right now. It's just amazing. So I have a daughter. Of course, you know this. And if you don't, you heard me talk about her in today's episode. She turned 3 on February 20th. She is, for me, the salt of the earth. She is the apple in my eye. Is that the thing? She's everything. She's my world. She's my sun. She is a magical, beautiful, incredible, just my Dylan Joy. I love her. I respect her. I honor her. So we were just meant to live this life together. We're very close. We are learning so much from each other, and she's incredible. I have never so I have never left on a solo trip without her, or the three of us with my husband. Um, I go to bed with her probably 4 or 5 times a week, where we go to bed together. We bed share, meaning she sleeps in her bed. I love that. It might be very hippie, crunchy for some of you out there, but it's been incredible. And it's just loving. We get to, you know, cuddle and offer her, support and share our love. And it's just very super special. A couple days a week, she sleeps with my husband, and she also falls asleep with him. Great. I've also been on a breastfeeding journey, right? If you didn't know about this, I am a very crunchy hippie mama from in many ways. So I've been breastfeeding her for 3 years. Now she breastfeeds really before going to bed, before her nap or before going to bed. So I've never gone on a solo trip. We've gone on dates and things like that, but I've never not been with her if she wakes up in the middle of the night or when she wakes up in the morning. So a week ago, I have a client, a marketing agency was a client. I work with the founder and the leadership team in Miami. They're amazing. Love working with them. And they have their quarterly meeting. So I was supposed to go on my first solo trip a week ago for literally 24 hours to Miami so I could be in this all day meeting and then come home that night. I got really sick. And I feel like that's why it's like God really works in mysterious ways. I got really sick, so I did not go. My ears were completely just hurting. And I did the meeting online, thankfully, where we have, availability to technology and all the things. And they were super understanding, but I didn't go. Okay. 2 days later, on Wednesday, I find out that my dear aunt in Switzerland has passed away. And she was and is an incredible person. I was really close with her. I was really close with her kids, my cousins. I spent I spent every summer growing up, most of every summer in Switzerland. I lived on and off in Switzerland when I was younger. And they're a big part of my life. My dad is Swiss. If you don't know this, I have my Swiss passport. I have a big connection to Switzerland. I was born in Venezuela, but pero tengo una conexión. Yeah, I have a big connection to Switzerland. I speak French, all the things. So when she passed away, initially I was like, all right, I'm Dylan Joy and I will go. Right. My husband can stay here. There's a lot of things going on, but her and I will go. And as I'm thinking about it, I'm like, I really don't think it's the best idea. Plus, traveling for the first time to Europe with like a 3-year-old between like the car seat, the stroller. I don't think it's impossible, right? But it's not like the theme. It's not the experience. And in my head, I'm like, I'm either going with her or I'm not going. So then in talking to like my dad, he's like, Steph, I don't know. I just think it's gonna be too much. And you know what? And it's my dad's sister, and he was like super understanding. He's like, please don't even like, I totally understand, family first. I know you support me and you love me, and it's okay. And they will also understand. My family is the best. Seriously, they're so understanding. And I talked to my cousin, and she's like, don't even worry. But honestly, I was still like, I felt like I needed to be there. I want to be there. I needed to be there. I should be there. Not should because like a consequence, but it's like we're family, this is a big deal. So then I talked to my little sister. She's been on the podcast, Vanessa. I love her. And I'm telling her all these things. And she's like, what do you want? Do you want advice or do you want me to just hear you? And I'm like, no, I'd love to hear your thoughts. She's like, listen, I think that Dylan Joy is strong. And so are you. And if she stays, she's going to stay with her dad. She's going to be safe. She's going to be taken care of. She's like, granted, you're not going to make a bad decision either way, but I think you should go. There are some things in life that you cannot go back in time. And then I cried my eyes out because I'm like, yeah, she has a really good point. And again, she was really sweet. It was like, whatever you do, I support you. And again, you're not going to make a wrong decision, but this is what I think. So then I was like, what do I do? What do I do? What do I do? I slept, I prayed, I talked to like a few of my mom friends that are so damn supportive. And then I was like, you know what? I'm going. So initially I was going to go like Tuesday to Sunday or something like that. And then I was like, okay, well, how can I meet myself? Well, like my mom self, right? Like the part of me who's a mom and has a really hard time leaving Dylan Joy. And how can I also meet the woman, human Steph? I want to meeting, like I want to be supportive of all parts of me. And I said, okay, what is the shortest amount of time that I can be there? Right. And would that reassure me that I can be there for my dad? I can be there for myself. I can be there for my cousins. I can be a presence as a family member, but I can also not be like anxious or nervous or scared or feel like it's really difficult to be away from my daughter. So I ended up booking a ticket. I'm going next week. I leave Wednesday afternoon and it's a direct flight. I land Thursday for the funeral and all of that. And then I come back Friday morning. So I'll be here by Friday afternoon. It's like 48 hours. I'll be mostly on a plane both ways. Then I'll be in Switzerland. And I feel at peace with that decision, right? I land on Friday and I can always like sleep through the weekend but it feels like the right thing to meet all parts of me, right? And maybe you're listening to this and you're like, oh my God, that's crazy. You're going to end up playing longer that you're going to be there. And yes, that's true. But I feel at peace. I feel like I came to a compromise where all parts of Steph feel satisfied, feel seen, feel supportive. And I'm sharing this with you because you might be in a situation where you're like, I don't know what to do. And there's going to be discomfort on both sides. Like for me, it was uncomfortable if I didn't go, right? Because I wanted to be there for my family. I wanted to be there for myself. And it was also going to be uncomfortable if I stayed because I would have been thinking, well, I still want to go. I still want to be there. And this just gave me a neutral place of being balanced, of like, I'm going to go for like less than 48 hours and I get to be there and experience that. But I also feel like Dylan Joy can handle that. And I can show her that we can both be brave and courageous and do hard things. And yes, we're going to miss each other, but we're going to be okay. And that's also an important thing to teach from a young age. And I'm also learning and I'm also growing. So if you're feeling like you're caught between a rock and a hard place, which is how I felt last week as I was making this decision, and I also didn't have a lot of time to make the decision because the longer you wait, the more expensive the tickets get, you know. So that's a whole thing in and of itself. Allow yourself to say, well, what would be the ideal scenario, and how can I support me in whatever needs to be seen? You know that the solution exists within you, right? Know that the answer exists. Know that, I talked to a friend who had also had gone on vacation or had gone out of town without her daughter for a few days, and I trust her. She's a psychologist and she's like, listen, this is what I did, this is how it worked. I talked to myself. I didn't talk to too many people because then you have like too many things on your mind, but I connected with myself. Obviously I talked to my husband, and my husband is very much like independent decision maker, right? So he's like, it'll be fine either way. Which sometimes is great to hear that. Other times I'm like, I want to talk more, but I also respect that's how he provides support, which sometimes I'm like, oh, tell me more. But other times I'm like, wow, it's great because he's pushing me in becoming stronger in my own decision making, right? He's not like enabling me to stay in the loop. He's like, all right, well, what do you think? And I'm like, all right, this is like adult decisions. So maybe have knowledge, inform yourself, maybe talk to one or two people or three people that you trust, and then ultimately know that you cannot make a wrong decision, right? You cannot make a wrong decision. So I'll let you know how my adventures in Switzerland are next week. And thank you all for the sweet messages and the prayers that I've received from my friends that I have shared. And I'll let you know how this feels on the other side. Because even though sometimes when you're in those really hard decisions, you're thinking like there's not a solution. And that's probably how I started. I'm like, I either go with Dylan Joy or I don't go. And then I was able to have a conversation with my sister, and we're pretty honest and loving, with one another. And she offered a new perspective, and never from a place of like, this is what I would do, even though she's going to, by the way, she has three kids. But she's comfortable with that decision and she's okay with it, and okay, cool. And that's the thing with motherhood and being a parent or anything in life. Like you have to make a decision that works for you. But when you find yourself in what you perceive yourself to be in a rock and a hard place, that can be the truth. And then you can open up yourself to a new perspective of, well, if I had the solution, what would it look like? Right. And if I was able to work through this, how would I show up? And if the solution lived within me in a place that would feel good, how would I go about finding it? Right. And at the beginning, I remember, I mean, when I found this out and I was thinking like I'm either going with Dylan Joy or I'm not, that felt really constrictive because it felt like too restrictive. It felt like too hard, if that makes sense energetically. How do I soften my hand around this? Like what other decisions can we make? And I need to make a decision by tomorrow because I need to buy a plane ticket and different things and what would it look like and let me play with the different dates. Could this work for me? So what I also, another thing to kind of give you the full context before we wrap this up is I said, okay, well, because I'm going to be on a flight longer than I'm going to be in person there, could it be like I always love the idea, and I haven't done this yet, and I'm sure I will soon, but I love the idea that I've seen like some people do on like they share on Instagram or you hear maybe other moms do it, where they go spend the night at like this beautiful 5-star hotel just to have like a night of like relaxation and sleep and maybe watch Sex in the City, who knows. I love that idea. So I'm like, I'm gonna treat this plane as like a 5-star resort. So even though I did end up spending more on the flight, I'm not traveling business, but whatever next, like business premium or comfort, I don't know, whatever it's called. It's not like business. It's not like those flights where you can like completely lay down, but it's like the next best thing. I'm like, okay, I'm gonna have these 10 hours on a flight where I'm gonna treat it like a 5-star hotel. So I'm like, I'm gonna bring books, I'm gonna maybe bring eye masks, I'm going to, treat this as like my little stay away hotel that I can like reset and recharge instead of being like, oh my God, I'm gonna be in a plane for basically 20 hours in a 2-day span and da 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 da, and it's gonna be awful. I'm like, how do I support myself? And how do I nourish and nurture and reset, knowing that this is what works for me. I'm happy with this decision, even though it is intense because of the travel. I was talking to a friend today too, and she was like, yeah, treat yourself like a little Buddhist, like drink a lot of water, drink a lot of vitamin C, know that you're going to be on a plane, eat really well. And I'm like, oh my gosh, I love that, because I did think, I'm like, I'm going to have a glass of champagne, and I'm like, actually, I don't think so, right? They say it's like really bad to drink while you're on a plane, so many miles up in the air and the pressure. And I was just sick. So I'm like, I'm going to have water and lemon and tea and like all of that. So now I'm like, okay, well, this little 48 hour journey to Europe to be with my family and open and support and offer love and support and nurture and all of that, how do I still nurture myself and making sure that when I come back on Friday, it's not like, oh my God, I'm exhausted. It was awful. It was too, no, like, you know what? I feel good. I took care of my body. I took care of my family. I took care of my emotions. I showed up for myself. So maybe those are things that you can ask yourself when you're feeling like it's a really hard time, you're having a hard time making a decision. Wish me luck, because I am still a little bit nervous. One of my friends, Nikki, introduced us to Daniel Tiger a couple months ago. I don't know if you are all familiar. If you're parents, you might have heard of Daniel Tiger. It's just this really beautiful cartoon. I don't know if it's a cartoon, but whatever. I guess it's a cartoon on PBS, and they have this thing, they have little songs and whatever. And this one song, it says, "Grown ups come back." Grown ups come back. If you're a Daniel Tiger fan, you're probably smiling. So I haven't told Dylan Joy yet that I'm leaving. They say with toddlers, telling them too much ahead can cause extra anxiety and nervousness. So I'm probably telling her like the morning of, because I'm leaving that night. So it's enough time for her to be like, okay. And I'm sure she's going to be upset and cry, but there's a Daniel Tiger episode on Grown Ups Come Back, and we have the song, and we have this little necklace, this like little, those like best friend necklace where like they have the half of the heart, and like you have the other half. We had picked that necklace a few months ago, and so I'll bring my half and she has her half, and she'll get to spend time with daddy, and it'll be great. It'll be great, and it'll be hard, and it'll be all the things, and it'll be a growth experience, for all of us. So, on that note, let me talk about how we can work together. If you've heard all my stories and you know about what I do, you know that I am a certified coach. And I mainly recently, as the past few years, I've been working mainly with small businesses. And small businesses, anything from $1 million to, $50 million businesses that want to live, that want to have more like integrated relationship with their employees, leadership, increased sales and conversion, and anything that a small business like under 50 million could need. I still have a few spots, and every once in a while, I open spots for private one on one coaching. And this is what this is. So, I'm opening up this feminine wealth 8 month transformation, where I'm only going to take, literally, because it's all that I have capacity for, I'm going to take on 5 clients, right? It's 5 clients. We are going to work together for the next 8 months. And it's really a high caliber, high touch, one on one coaching experience for those that fully want to embody feminine wealth, right? Which I'll talk about in a minute. And this isn't just about financial success, although that's something we're going to cover, but it's about creating a deeply fulfilling, aligned, magnetic, wealthy, delicious, joyful life, right? And over the course of 8 months, we're going to integrate the 8 pillars of feminine wealth, right? And those 8 pillars are, of course, financial freedom, self and sensuality, global impact or community, if you want to stay within your community, creativity and expression, spirituality, health and vitality, because by now we know that health is wealth, personal growth, and then your relationships and your connection. So every month we're going to have a theme that we're going to explore over 8 months. And that's really to uncover the things that are keeping you stuck, the things that are keeping you playing small, the things that are getting in the way of you living your most wealthy, happiest, joyful, magnetic, expansive life, right? Because many successful women are scaling their businesses, but they're feeling scarcity or they're overworking if you're in corporate, right? A lot of us too, and I've been there, are making really great money, but you feel like there's no pleasure, you're burning out, there's no fulfillment, right? Maybe you're struggling with trusting yourself and receiving support, and you feel like you have to give it your all the time, but there's no time for you, right? You're putting yourself in the back burner all the time. Maybe you feel a little bit more masculine and you've lost all sense of like creativity and sensuality and feminine and softness, right? You might be carrying unconscious patterns that are blocking you from your wealth, from attracting relationships or getting married or having babies. I've helped women with all of those things. Achieving success where it doesn't feel like it's just masculine and linear, right? Like A to B and grinding and hustling, but you're also enjoying the process. You see how I live my life. I have a multiple six figures business, right? I live in New York City. I work with incredible companies and executives and founders. I've worked with women that are authors and getting their books published. I've worked with women that want to get pregnant. And now I'm literally getting pictures in the mail with their babies. Women that wanted to get married and find their loved ones. And I'm getting like invited to their weddings. Companies that want to grow to like multiple 7 figures. And I get to work with their leadership team. Like, and I also go to my daughter's ballet class on Friday mornings, and we go to like music classes and we get to get ice cream after work. Like I'm not working more than 30, 40 hour weeks. You know what I mean? And by weeks, yeah, let me hold on. 3, no, 30 to 40 hour months. Like I work about 40 hours a month. I'm sorry, not a week. On a weekly basis, I work like 10 to 12 hours. It's true. And this is possible. I have done it with my life, right? So by the end of this 8 month journey, you're going to have like financial sovereignty. You're going to own your feminine power. You're going to feel fully supported yourself, emotionally, mentally, financially, spiritually. You're going to have deeper relationships and more pleasure and this like magnetic presence of people wanting to be with you. And you're going to feel ease and flow and alignment in your life. This doesn't mean that I'm not saying like your life is going to be like you're never going to experience a challenge. No. But when you have the challenges and the things that I have shared with you today, You're going to know how to move through those situations. I'm only opening it up to 5 clients. There's only 5. Like, this is only for you, 5 of you, because this is highly one-on-one touch. You're going to get access to all of my online courses. We're going to be connected through Voxer, which is like a texting app, right? We're going to talk. You're going to shift. You're going to see your life transformed by the end of 2025. So if this is you, I will link an application in the show notes so you can apply. Serious applicants only, though. This is a 5-figure investment. I'm just going to say what it is, right? Overall investment for the next 8 months. So committed to the success, to your transformation, whether you're a business owner, whether you're executive, whether you're a stay-at-home parent, but you're ready to live your life in flow, in alignment, make more money, have better relationships, design your life in a way that feels so good to you. I'd love to have you. I love to be for you to be part of this feminine wealth coaching experience with me. So listen, thank you for listening. As always, thank you for being here. I hope you have an incredible month of March. I hope you get everything you want. And if this offer, this service, this coaching experience is winking at you, go to the link in the show notes, apply. We will connect over the phone and we will literally start working right away. All right, my friends, have an incredible week. May you follow your joy always and in all ways. Take care.